Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasante Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasante Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana. Haribol.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Haribol Nitai Gaur, Jai Jai Gurudev. Haribol, Jai Jai Satkirtan.
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana
Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Mohana Govinda Rama,
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol
Madana Mohana, Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama
Krishna,
Madana Mohana
Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana
Haribol, Nitay Gaur, Haribol
Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gauranga
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Guranga,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya
Krishna,
Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda
Krishna,
Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
So, Haribol, namaste. So, bago tayo mag-umpisa, meron lang akong gustong sabihin. Gusto kong ipahiwatig sa inyo lahat na yung spirit soul, tayo. Kung titignan nyo, lahat tayo may mithiin sa buhay kung anong gusto natin mangyari. So ngayon, kinategorize yung gawain o yung mithiin or yung desire ng living entity kung ano yung sitwasyon niya. Number one, yung fruitive worker. Ibig sabihin ng fruitive worker, yun yung materialist who wants to enjoy the fruits of his labor or her labor. Yung bunga ng trabaho niya, gusto niya siya makatikim. Okay. So, in different degrees yun. Kung ano yung desire mo ano yung capability mo, ganun lang din yung darating sa'yo. Pero ang punto ko, yung desire, fruitive worker. Yung isa naman, yun yung who wants liberation. Kasi sa sobra gusto niyang mawala rito, makawala rito, naintindihan niya, hindi siya yung katawan. Pero dahil hindi pa rin niya, yung method niya, yung paraan niya is to be liberated by his own power. So, he meditates. Okay? And ang achievement niya is to go to a world that has no suffering. Transcendental din yun. Yun yung impersonal aspect ng Supreme Person. Yung isa, yung devotee, who simply follows and listen to the descending process coming from God, pababa. Yung dalawa, with their own power, they want to achieve happiness. Gusto nila magkaroon ng happiness. Which is, makikita natin sa bawat isa sa atin kung nasaan tayo. Yung isa naman, sa sobrang gusto niya makawala rito sa miserable world, magme-make din siya ng effort, mag-meditate to go to the impersonal Brahman. Practice Kundalini Yoga, yung methodology na to get out of this body and leave the material elements. Yun yung impersonalist. Pero hanggang doon lang siya sa impersonal aspect. Yung devotee, he doesn't need to make so much endeavor to be connected with what he's longing for. Kasi ang nangyari, he just simply received the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes, the source of happiness, the Lord of love, descending. So ilalagay lang niya yung sarili niya to receive. Okay. Pero paano natin ma-receive? Yun yung katanungan. Okay? So ngayon, yun yung gusto kong sabihin. At dito sa mundo na to, lahat tayo ay takot, fearful tayo sa lahat ng bagay dito. Dahil nakatali yung paa natin, kamay natin sa mundo na to. Connected. Ayan. Kagaya ngayon, kinakatakot na ng lahat mamatay dahil sa COVID-19. Yun ang dahil threat. Hindi, threat pa rin. Kasi nga, disease eh. Threat pa rin as an individual, takot ka na yung field of activity ko, itong katawan, pwedeng gibain ng virus. At paano ako sasaya kung hindi na ako makahinga? Yun ang di ba, nakikita nyo? Yun yung trending ngayon. So ngayon, babasahin ko to, yung turo sa turo na narinig ni Maharaj Pariksit kay Sukadev Goswami. To recall, si Sukadev Goswami, disciple siya ni Narada Muni. At si Maharaj Pariksit, siya yung emperor who has 7 days to live. Dahil kiner siya ng Brahmana that in 7 days you will die. So alam niya na, in 7 days you will die. Pero kung titignan din nyo natin, yung struggle natin for existence, kung hindi mo naintindihan kung sino ka, what will you be fearing? Ano yung kakatakutan mo parate? Ano? Takot ka mamatay, di ba? Pero kung naintindihan mo, hindi ka mamamatay, spiritual entity ka, awareness, ano yung dapat mong gawin pag aalis ka na sa katawan? Yun ang malaking hurdle. Yun ang practice na dapat nating i-prepare. What will you do? What action will you engage in as spirit soul when you leave the body? Okay? What preparation na gagawin natin at this time, in point of time, sa ngayon? Kung anong gagawin natin, kasi we'll be leaving the body, then, ang mangyayari, we do understand, we will live eternally. Eternal ka eh. Life, you never die. So, what situation, what environment will you be living again? Saan ka mapupunta? Yun ang malaking question mark. Ngayon, sabi ng saintly person that this place is the planet of death. Kung hindi mo prepare yung sarili mo, ikaw. That at the time you face yung inevitable, yung haharapin mo na aalis ka sa katawan, yung kinakatakutan ng lahat, kamatayan, saan ka pupunta? Yun ang malaking katanungan. Okay? Kaya yung the first step in God realization, yun yung babasahin ko sa process ng devotional practice. So, binigyan tayo ng disciplic succession ng spiritual master natin at ng instructing spiritual master natin ng process o paraan paano natin ihanda yung tayo para pag hinarap na natin yung katotohanan ng haharapin natin. Aalis ka sa katawan, saan ka pupunta? Yun yung piniprepare natin. Kaya lang, dahil si Maya masyadong very dominating sa buhay natin because we are covered by this material body coming from material energy, influenced by the power of the modes of passion, ignorance, or goodness, our mind, our desire, especially when we are identifying ourselves as the body, we become fruitive worker. So yung goal natin, it's about an endeavor to get the fruits with the promise na sasaya tayo. Kaya hindi tayo attracted or wala tayong gana harapin yung hinaharap natin. Naaalis tayo sa katawan. Kasi yung unbridled yung senses natin, unlimited yung desire. Kaya nandun ka patungo sa ibang direksyon. Yung direksyon na pinapapuntahan mo ay, alam mo, hindi mo rin makakamtan o mahahawakan forever. Kasi nakita na natin na masisihira niya Kashipu who wants to live eternally in the body, he still has to leave the body. Even Kamsa or anybody. Kaya nga may All Souls Day. Pag pumunta ba kayo sa sementeryo, nandun pa ba yung soul? Nandun yung mga soul na nanonood sa mga lungon na wala ng soul. Is it clear? Pero hindi nyo maintindihan yun kung wala kang wisdom coming from the seer of the truth or the spiritual master. Kasi the spiritual master tells you, speaks to you about the transcendental truth of your true identity. Kaya makakaroon ka ngayon ng wisdom how you will act, how you will move in this world. Is it clear? Okay, I'll read this out. And back to the point, we are guided by our instructing spiritual master who are eternally the associate of Lord Chaitanya. They're all coming from the spiritual world, coming to this world to give us a process, to invite us, to give us association. To give us association. Kaya nga, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. He's very blessed, and if you associate with him by following his instruction, you're also blessed. Because you will be under the guidance of wisdom and light, and you see clearly where you're heading. So the first step in the right direction is to listen to God. Okay? Now, if you are not listening to God, to Lord Krsna, then you will be desire-driven. Kayo yung fruitive worker. You will be continually coming to this world, entering to different bodies, experiencing birth, death, disease, and knowledge. And at the time you're leaving the body, all your security and attachment, it will be hindi heartbreaking, a heart-wrenching, painful experience in your heart and in your mind. Especially when you identify with the mind. Kasi your mind is so attached to this world. Kaya you're suffering at the time you're leaving the world. Okay? So is it clear? Naintindihan nyo? Is it understandable sa iyo, Kirtandas? Naintindihan mo, Haridas? Kasi pag yung mind mo attached sa mundo na to, then you'll experience na makat off sa lahat ng security mo. Habang nandito ka sa mundo ngayon, anxiety ka na nga, hindi mo makuha yung gusto mo eh. Why? Because the desire in the mind, anticipation, yung thinking and feeling and willing, hindi mo makuha yung gusto mo if you are not with wisdom and guided by God. Okay? So yun ang point. The first step in self-realization. What is the value of prolonged life, which is wasted and experienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after the supreme interest. So ano daw yung value ng prolonged life like a tree without knowing one's identity, who he is, and wasting one's time roaming around in this world trying to pursue yung following the desire, and you waste your time. Better a moment of full consciousness of the Supreme. A moment, okay? Hindi ba nyo napansin, karamihan ng example dito ay yung mga emperor, saintly kings. They have everything materially. Empire, kingdoms, wealth, beautiful queens, everything that you can imagine of and what you cannot imagine. The wealth, the power, the fame. At tayo na nandito, who are desire-driven, we long to acquire material things. Yeah? It's our goal to be secured in this body, to live eternally in this body. And it eclipse. Alam niyo eclipse? Yung moon na tatabunan. Pag yung araw nagtapat na ganon, yung moon. Cover. It eclipses the longing of the spirit soul, you, the person, to taste a loving relationship with God, a connection. Kasi yung mind mo wala sa relationship mo sa Diyos. Ang relationship mo makuha yung gusto ng mind mo sa pagpalo mo sa desire. Kaya you suffer. You are in the desert world. No life. No water, burning up. Okay? Or in short, you're in a burning forest. Nasusunog. Hindi ka mapakali. Or in short, you're drowning in the ocean of suffering. Okay? Srila Sukadev Goswami instructed Maharaj Pariksit about the importance of chanting the holy names of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. In order to encourage the king who had only 7 days remaining, Srila Sukadev Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interested to be fulfilled. The supreme interest is life. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of material world and are engaged in animal propensities of the eat, drink, and be merry type of life are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. Yung panahon mabilis eh. Time gone is gone. And you're given this opportunity to connect yourself with the devotees of God through their teaching, especially the chanting of the holy names, which is non-different from the Supreme Person. The Supreme Person is the cause of all causes, all happiness, transcendental bliss, relationship, what you're longing for. And the holy name comes through the lips of the pure devotee. Kaya you will not be focusing your time or your life into chanting the holy names. And then you waste your human form of life. Kasi you will be driven by a force that is more powerful than you. The unlimited desires in your mind. It is the impetus or yung binobombahan ka ni Maya ba? Ito. All the desires in the mind. Is it clear? Okay? At least malaman natin kung nasan tayo. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. And the easiest possible procedure is to attain this, and is to chant the holy names of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed the point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed at the feet of the holy names. So ang point ko rito, yung chanting ng holy names purifies one's consciousness, one's heart. So when you make progress, your liking to chanting the holy names become very intensive. Your affection towards, or your endeavor towards gliding towards that world of longing to be close with God, with a relationship of closeness, of doing His will, becomes intensified. And that intensity eclipses material desires. Okay? So, I'll read this, isang situation, kasi si Sukadev Goswami, he's talking to Maharaj Pariksit, who has 7 days to live. And in 7 days, he's very fortunate to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and the devotees through the lips of someone who is a teacher by example, whose life is completely dovetailed and with pure unalloyed devotion to the Supreme Person, meaning a pure loving servant of God, meaning his whole life is simply to please God. Okay? And to please his spiritual master. And he's very fortunate to come in contact with Sukadev Goswami. Maharaj Pariksit sat down for 7 days and 7 nights. And then what was imbibed to him connects him, his heart, his life, that his enthusiasm to listen, to enter that world, and the mind now, the desire now has been transformed into the desire to be close and to be loving the Supreme Person intensely, to do the will of God. Yun yung process ng effect ng holy names. But when you chant and you don't make progress, the effect naman sa'yo is because in the beginning, you're in the offensive stage. Pag nag-chant ka, immediately, kung you're not making progress, somewhere along the line, you will not experience this closeness because you're not following the process. Kasi may formula eh. Anong formula? The formula is that, number 1, you can relate to the Supreme Person in humbleness, and when you chant, it is a prayer in your heart to be close to Him, and you want to come to the point of unalloyed, pure loving service where your life is simply serving Him without expecting anything in return. Because it is the chanting of the holy names connects you with the source of happiness. So definitely and obviously, even though theoretically you can comprehend it theoretically, that if you're connected with the source, then you are longing for happiness and this is the source of happiness, then obviously you will be experiencing fulfillment. But if you're not making progress, you will not enter that world because you will not taste how sweet it is to render service to the Supreme Person, and the Supreme Person appreciate your love, because the only relationship you can have with the Supreme Person that is very close is love and devotion, as what all the devotees did and are experiencing now. Tindihan niya? That even though we come from this Christian environment, the teaching has been so much polluted because of individuals influenced by the mode of passion, indifferent consciousness, are promoting and trying to carry on their material desires. So it points to salvation, liberation. It points about you go to church so God can do your will. God, I want this. And in short, you're saying, God, Lord Krishna, I come here to pray so you can do my will, follow my desire. Okay? It's all perverted. Kasi it's not your position to demand and to God, to relate to God as your servant. Naintindihan niyo? Yun ang relationship natin lahat eh. So, yung sinabi ko, yung fruitive worker, yung who wants liberation and the devotee. So you can check kung nasaan ka. And then if you want to be successful as what all the saintly person are advising us and all those who follow the path, then you follow the process, the path that they treaded. Yun yung instruction sa Nectar of Instruction ni Rupa Goswami, following the footstep of the saintly person. Kasi yung consciousness mo, yung buhay mo, you have seen that this person succeeded. And you know that the human form that you have now is not simply, this body is not a tool to live like an animal. Ano yung buhay ng animal? Eating, sleeping, mating, and depending or fighting. Yun ang buhay ng animal eh. Pero may intelligence ka man. Ano yung intelligence mo? To inquire, who am I? Why am I here? Bakit kailangan kong mamatay? Saan ako pupunta? When I leave this body, where will I go? Pero because of the desire, the passion, the lust, you're driven by a force. Kaya hindi mo makita. So the process in Kali Yuga is simply the supreme purifier, the holy names that purifies our mind, our desire. So now our desire will be transcendental, meaning it is the desire to be pleasing to God. Because associating with the devotee of God, who is a pure loving servant, is like when you associate with, when metal comes in contact with fire, what will happen? The metal becomes, ano mangyari sa metal? Maging apoy din, di ba? So when you are following this path and you are sincere in your heart, you carry on, although you know you're helpless, but you follow the footstep of the saintly person and the mercy, the grace that is being given to us, and your sincerity and your faith to take shelter of the supreme person, then you will succeed. Okay? Sabi dito ni story to ni ng isang king. A saintly person, the saintly king, Katbanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would only be a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety of the personality of Godhead. Si Maharaj, si King Katbanga, this is story, okay? Babasahin ko, okay? Si Maharaj Pariksit has 7 days to live. Ito naman siya, a moment. Alam yung moment? Okay? A fully responsible man should always be conscious of the prime duty of the present human form of life. The activities to meet the immediate necessities of material life are not everything. One should always be alert in his duty for attainment of the best situation in the next life. Human life is meant for preparing ourselves for the prime duty, yung prime duty ng human form. Kasi kung eating, sleeping, mating, and depending, then you don't need the human form of life when you leave this body. You are put in another body, okay? Na hindi mo kailangan ng human form. Human life is meant for preparing ourselves for the prime duty. Maharaj Katbanga is mentioned herein as a saintly king because even within the responsibility of state management, he was not at all forgetful of the prime duty of life. Such was the case with other Raja Rishis or saintly kings. Kaya nga laging example are kings, saintly kings. Okay? Pag sinabi mong king, hari, hindi yung milyonaryong mini nakarinig ba kayo milyonaryong mini? Ha? Hindi yun. Hindi yun ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Yung mga tao rito sa material world, in the consciousness of following their desire are all milyonaryong mini. Gamatoy ba? Pero abi nila, dagko kayo sila. Kaya, abi nila, naalang sila, they think they have 100 billion pesos. They think they're very powerful and wealthy. But if you look at Mother Earth and you're able to, for example, you're an astronaut, your body is born in United States of America. Naging astronaut ka. profession mo. So lilipat ka ngayon with space shuttle, lalabas kayo sa environment ng Earth. Paglabas nyo, you can see the whole atmosphere wherein you can see Mother Earth as you are living that proximity, yung distance, palayo ng palayo, you see the cosmos with all the galaxies. And hanggang pagtagal, hindi mo na makita yung Mother Earth. And you think, I have 1 billion, I'm very rich, look what I've got. Okay? I have rich families. Okay? I have rich friends. I'm powerful. I will give you house. I will give you wealth. I can be famous. Pero kung titignan mo, halimbawa, Philippines, yung Earth, Philippines, as you go far and far, can you see the Philippines? Okay? Don't you notice even yung Philippines sa news, sa world news, hindi nga minimension ang Philippines. Ma-mention lang pag halimbawa may mga tragedy. Pero makikita nyo, irrelevant. What is relevant? Yung mga powerful people, powerful mga news nila. Okay? Naglalaban yung mga kung sino yung maging powerful. Pero pag malayo ka na malayo, kaya sumisigaw nga yung person, I'm the greatest! Parang si this boxer ba? Hindi hindi yung kamaong kamay ng Pinoy na bilyonaryong mini. Okay? I'm the most powerful. Tapos palayo ng palayo, yung satellite, yung planet, Earth, palit. Hindi mo na nakikita yung mga tao, millions and millions. Wala na. Sana Mother Earth? Ay yung tao, nandun. I'm the greatest of all. Okay? Si Muhammad Ali. Nasaan si Muhammad Ali ngayon? Pantay na yung paa. Okay? Amoy lupa na yung katawan niya kasi nalupa na yun yung katawan niya. Umalis na siya sa katawan. Pero bago siya umalis, kamay niya, ano yan? Sakit na yan. Parkinson. Kaya pagkausap mo siya, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. Okay? Tapos lahat ng tao, let's give him accolades. Alam mo yung accolade? Kung ano yung nagawa niya, he's the greatest. Kaya tinutulak siya sa wheelchair. Naandun lahat yung mga tao pumapalapak. Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of them all. Dementia na nga yung tao, hindi nga niya alam kung hindi nga niya kayo nakikita. Okay? Para may value. Anong value? Anong value na achieve mo? Wala. Pag alis mo, you're holding an empty bag. Parang kagaya ngayon, nag-aaral kayo, lahat kayo naka-module, naka-ganon. Wala kayong natutunan. Pag graduate nyo, nakatayo ka ron, puro kayo medalya. Anong daladala nyo? Boke ang utak nyo. Wala kayong alam. Kasi nanay, tatay man yung nag-answer ng module nyo. So, back to the point. Gusto ko lang kayong gisingin. Okay. Maharaj Kadbanga was invited by the demigods in the higher planets to fight demons. So, ibig sabihin nun, ang association ni Maharaj Kadbanga are demigods who are servants of Krishna. And being a warrior, yung mga warrior kasi akala nyo yung war lang dito sa mundo. No. They're fighting against the demons in this universe. Kagaya ng pastimes ni Lord Nrsimhadev. Kagaya ng pastimes ni King Indra, ni Prahlad Maharaj. It's a fight between the demigods and the demons. Kaya nga, hindi ba, yun ang ginagawa nila mga movies ngayon? Ha? Mga supernatural, di ba? X-Men, di ba? Magneto, o kaya yung malaking tao na hindi namamatay, na who controls the universe. This is all mental concoction. Back to the point. The demigods, being fully satisfied with him, wanted to give him some benediction. Ibig sabihin, lumaban siya kasama ng mga demigods. Kaya gusto siyang bigyan ng benediction. Ano yung benediction? Biyaya. Premyo. Okay? The demigods, being fully satisfied with him, wanted to give him some benediction for material enjoyment. But Maharaj Kadbanga, being very much alert of his prime duty, inquired from the demigods about the remaining duration of his life. This means that he was not anxious to accumulate some material benediction from the demigods as he was to prepare himself for the next life. He was informed by the demigods, however, that his life would last only a moment longer. Sabi sa kanya, sabi ng demigods, whatever benediction, we want to give you a prize dahil sa pagtulong mo sa amin. Anong premyo? Benediction. Okay? Para bang boon. Pero aware si Maharaj Kadbanga sa prime duty ng human form of life, that you must always remember the Supreme Person, not just remember, but be connected in loving surrender. That your focus is to be pleasing to God. Yun ang prime duty ng human form of life. Sabi sa kanya, you have a moment ba? Immediately, ito yung ginawa niya. The king at once left the heavenly kingdom, which is always full of material enjoyment of the highest standard, and coming down to this earth took ultimate shelter of the all-safe personality of Godhead. He was successful in his great attempt to achieve liberation. This attempt, even for a moment, by saintly kings, was successful because he was always alert to the prime duty. Maharaj Pariksit was thus encouraged by great Sukadev Goswami, even though he had only 7 days left in life to execute the prime duty of hearing the glories of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. By the will of the Lord, Maharaj Pariksit instantly met the great Sukadev Goswami and the great treasure of spiritual success. By spiritual success left him is nicely mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, yun yung purpose ng why you chant, even for a moment. So, if you chant the holy names with love and devotion, halimbawa, nagda-drive ka ng kotse, o kaya nakasakay kayo sa bus, pauwi na kayo, let's go home! We are the boys going home. Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. Biglang nakasakay kayo, binangga kayo ng prime mover. Nalaminate yung buong truck nyo. Pero at that time, nabigla ka, Krishna! Yung buhay mo, then you go to Krishna. Pero pag nagda-drive kayo, biglang nabangga, ha! Hindi. Yung iba nagsiswear eh. Yawa! Okay? Yung iba naman, unsa na lang. Nag-what ba si mama dito? Okay? Okay? So, yun ang point ko. So, yung saintly person, they know, that is the reason we teach you this wisdom coming from para. So, you'll know the prime duty of human form of life. That this world is a place of suffering, and what determines your life or the environment when you leave this body will be what your consciousness is, your heart. Okay. So, our true, eternal, transcendental nature is that we are awareness, life. Our position is that we're eternally the loving servant of God. And our transcendental activities should be engaging in pure devotional service by offering our heart, our mind, in focus to do the will of God. So yun yung practice na ginagawa nyo, and it is achieved through the supreme purifying holy names of God. So our heart, our material desires will be purified, and now we can see ourselves and we be aware of our duty. And what is our duty? Is to please someone who is very close to us, who is always with us, eternally, Lord Krishna. The source of happiness, the source of life. So Lord Krishna tells us, if one offers me with love and devotion, a little fruit, a little water, a leaf, I will accept it. Ano yung connection mo? Devotion. At that time, you listen and chant the holy names, meaning your heart will gravitate, will be gliding towards this affection or intensity to be pleasing, to be close with the Supreme Person. That even though you're in this body, you understand that you're away from the Lord. But you are not away because your consciousness, your heart is settled down in this world of devotional service under the guidance of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami and our Gurudev. The Harinama, the chanting of the holy names, the 9 process of devotional service begins with hearing and chanting. You become aware. You become the consciousness of Maharaj Kadbanga, his awareness of his prime duty, like Sukadev Goswami is aware of, he is teaching Maharaj Pariksit about the prime duty of human life, to be able to leave this material world and enter that world of Vaikuntha, associating with the Supreme Person. And the key is devotion, your life, your heart. So spiritual life, eternal spiritual life is about religion, loving service to God. Yun ang spiritual life. Because loving service is inseparable from you. So the hurdle we should be doing is to purify the mind and the material desires that we can be aware of our prime duty to be close with the Supreme Person, to do what is pleasing to God. And we will be successful when we leave this body. Our awareness will be our attachment to Lord Krishna. So you don't need to come back to this world. Is it clear? But you must make that decision. But through following the footsteps of the saintly person, as what Rupa Goswami advises, following the footstep of the saintly person, and it is also advised by Lord Krishna. Sabi ni Lord Krishna, one must search out and find a bona fide spiritual master, follow him, render service to him, inquire from him submissively. Then you're connected in this direction to enter this transcendental relationship that has been covered, that has been misdirected by material influence, because we are now getting to know and understand and becoming free from material desires, which is the ending is death and unhappiness, because it's the world of matter. Is it clear? It's understandable sa inyo? So if you're intelligent, you take the path of the saintly person, because it's the path that will lead you to success, not your desire. Kasi that's the wrong direction. Okay? Is it clear? So Haribol, let's chant. Haribol Nitay-Dor, Haribol Shiv Papa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Layanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Layanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Layanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Layanya.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadekar Bhakta Vrinda. Haribol, everybody sing, dance.
Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadekar Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Haribol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Haribol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Haribol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Mohana. Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama. Madana Mohana. 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 Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama. Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama. Madana Mohana. Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama. Madana Mohana. 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 Jaya Jaya Guru Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Guru Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Haribol Nitai Gaur. Jai Nitai Gaur. Jaya Jaya Lord Chaitanya. Lord Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya 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 Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jai Gurudev, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Nitai Gaur. Jaya Jaya Haribol, Jai Sankirtan. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Naminai Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te